Arrested and expelled over a text message. Let's get into it. First things first, if you're returning, thanks for returning. I appreciate you. And if it's your first time coming to the channel, welcome to my channel. I talk about knucklehead things like this all the time. And my whole goal is for people to make better choices than I did. Okay? So, anyways, I'm going to get right into this. This actually happened same year that I got expelled from school. Okay? So, that was 2009. So, I'm minding my own business. I'm at home because they have to figure out how to move me and shit. Like, it's a whole process getting kicked out of a school, going to another one. And that happened to me twice. So, I missed a whole month of school just between like 2 weeks here and 2 weeks there, whatever. So, it takes time. So, I was just chilling at home. And, like, I was about the second one to get kicked out. Like, my homie Robert, he got kicked out in ninth grade. He didn't even make it through all of ninth grade. I remember when they came and got him, and they got him out of class when I was there. He was in my class. He stole the iPod. So they got him in ninth grade. Then they get me in 10th grade like 3 weeks into it. Okay. Then after that, my homie Max, apparently, like this is where I was at with the story. I was chilling at home, and all of a sudden, my doorbell rings. And it was probably like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, something like that. And it's my homie Max. And he's like asking me, like, yo, do you got a cigarette? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I got you. So I gave him a cigarette. And he proceeded to tell me the story. And I'll tell you exactly what he told me. Okay? So, what had happened was, he was at West High, which is the school that I got expelled from in the first place. And when he was in PE, like, when you do PE, you change into your PE clothes? Apparently, he saw somebody that, like, I don't know how he saw this, but some dude had $100 bill in his wallet. So, my homie, like, he was pretty known for, like, stealing stuff at, like, a certain point, Like, nothing against him now, but, like, this was fucking 15, 17 years ago, we were stupid back then. So, he was pretty known for, like, coming up on stuff or going through backpacks or, finding iPods, money, whatever the case may be, going through cars. So, he sees that, and I was actually friends with this guy's older brother. That was the crazy part, but he sees that he has this money. So, he's already, like, thinking of a way that he's going to steal it. And I'll tell you, like, and I've seen this from personal experience, if you're going to steal something and you're going to be the prime suspect, you need to steal it and give it away immediately. Not give it away, but you need to give it to someone to hold on to until things cool down. So that way, when they do take you, they can strip you naked and they can't find nothing. Okay? I've gone through that. My homie, he's gone through that a bunch of times. And that's exactly what he did this time. So, he takes the money and, like, like I said, like he had kind of built up a reputation that like people would think like, oh yeah, that fool stole that shit, you know. So he passed that shit off to somebody who like was just somebody who he was this kid that was always trying to be down, and he like was always down to like try to like be part of the gang and like not even gang, not the right word. Like he was just trying to be accepted, but he would want to do all this stupid shit. Like we would invite him to Knott's Scary Farm, but we would tell him like, all right, you have to blow cigarette smoke into a clown's face, like shit like that. And we actually got him to do that, and he got in trouble. It was pretty funny. So, anyways, he steals the money, and he hands it off to this kid, and immediately when they dress back into regular clothes, the guy who had the money, he starts he starts tripping, and he's like accusing my homie, and like he's accusing like all these like other people and whatever. And you know, like we had gotten in so much shit like in ninth grade and like everything else that like they just knew, like they zeroed in on us anytime anything happened anywhere in the school. It was like, you know, all of us up in the office, just like the usual suspects, like straight up. Until they started kicking us out, and then they probably still were getting frustrated of like, how the fuck does this like, keep happening? We've already, like, they kicked my homie Jeremy out a couple weeks after that for like selling Xanax to these kids that said that they felt like they were gonna die, and they went to the nurse's office and said that they felt like they were gonna die, and he got kicked out and sent to another school. So they really fucking spread us apart, man. My ex girl went to another school. Like we are all over the fucking place. I felt bad for one of my homies that stayed at West High, that he kind of had to stay with a lot of like, he was part of our friend group, but like we all got kicked out, so he was stuck with kind of like the kids from the other school that came to that high school that were just kind of like whatever, they're cool and whatnot, but they just weren't like homies, whatever. So anyways, um what ended up happening was my boy Max gets called up to the school office where the school police officer is. And I had run-ins with this guy. A lot of us did. And like I can remember him actually stripping me down to my boxers. And I thought like this is wrong. Like this feels like wrong. But apparently because I was on school grounds, like they were allowed to like search like to a certain degree or whatever with like suspicion or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But that was a time where the security guard was walking in front of me and I was walking behind him. And when he was looking forward, I reached into my pocket and I threw whatever I had, and I threw it. And like, I didn't have anything on me. And I was just like, man, what? I think they saw that on camera because from then on, whenever they would walk me to the thing, I would always have to walk in front, and the security guard would walk in behind after that. So they call my boy up, and they search the shit out of him. Like they search the shit out of him. They search his phone. Like they go through his text messages. They like flip his backpack inside out. They like go through all his clothes, like everything. And it's like this cop, like he was his name was Officer Garcia. He was notorious, like everybody hated him, and he hated everyone, and he was just like the most notoriously like super cop of Torrance, that like just the person that you didn't want to run into, that would give everybody a hard time. Like he was the guy that like he would call the gang unit, like on he called the gang unit on me like twice. So there was between him and a guy named Fujimoto. Anyways, so what ends up happening is I'm in rehab at the time. So I was in rehab at the point where, like, when you start, I was in outpatient, when I was 15. So outpatient is where you don't live there, but you spend a lot of time there. So you go there from like, I would go there after school, and I'd be there till like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, and you're like that for like fucking like 3 months, and then after that, then you're like for like 2 months you go a little bit less, and then for the last like month, then you only go a little bit. I did like 6 or 9 months, I can't remember, but either way, you have to. The only good thing about that, like, which there's a lot of bad things about it, about like meeting different connects and meeting different people and meeting people with money and meeting people that like do drugs you've never even heard of and all this shit. But another one of the good things is it keeps you somewhere. And sometimes just being somewhere is all that it takes for you to not get into some shit. Because, like, for example, what ended up happening is after school, like, my boy, like, he ends up, like, the cop doesn't know what to do. So the cop, like, he has to let him go. So he lets him go, and everything's all good. My homie, like, buy some weed with the money, whatever. And he had texted the homie that he bought the weed from, and he was telling him like, yeah, I came up on this money, blah 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 blah, whatever. And they were at this park called Victor Park that was down the street from the high school that we went to. And I guess like while they were there, the cop, the school cop, the same cop from earlier at school rolled up, and he rolled up and they were smoking a blunt, or maybe they weren't even smoking. Like, they were the type of people where if you were just hanging out, they would come fuck with you. Like, it happened to me. I got a ticket like that. Like, I got fucked with more. I was never doing anything. They would just come and flip a bitch and like pull up on me and be like, your hand's cold because you're holding that beer and shit like that. But I was never doing anything. So they do like the same thing probably. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was at rehab, like, thankfully. If I wasn't there at rehab, I 100% would have been at the park with everybody who was there. So my homie Andrew and my homie Louie were selling weed at the time. So I remember that, like, they straight up got arrested at the park. They all got arrested. So, like, my homie and my homie Andrew and my homie Louie, they all got arrested together. And then because my boy had the text messages talking about how he like tricked and got away with the fucking stealing the money from the guy at the school earlier, that tied back into the whole situation, and he ended up getting expelled from that too. So he got expelled and arrested because of that. And like, it was just because they went through his phone and they saw that he was talking to someone about it, about, yeah, I came up on this money, blah blah blah. And like, it was just like, really, like, I know for a fact that I would have been there. And I think I can remember even getting like the call of when it was happening and thinking the exact same thing of like, I know for a fact that I would be there if I wasn't here right now. And I was doing some bullshit like uh, adult coloring books or some shit, something super lame. But I just knew like there's no way I wouldn't have been there. And that's one of those things that's like guilt by association. Like, it doesn't matter if you're doing shit or not, like you're gonna get arrested. Like, it's happened to me before, trust. Like, it doesn't matter if you didn't do anything, but if you were there, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're the one running and getting chased, even though you didn't do anything, but you're part of the group getting chased, best believe you're gonna go to juvie and you're gonna go like get the same deal as the person who caused the shit to get you chased in the first place. So, anyways, that was just, luckily my boy, he's doing really good. He's successful. He has a good job. Like, he has like a good life, and he it's like definitely uh, someone who turned his life around for the better, and like I'm really like proud of him for that. But like that was definitely a moment that like it was pretty wild. Like I didn't see it coming. You know what I mean? Like I was at home, just chilling. I could still remember my doorbell ringing, and he's just like, "Yo, you got a cigarette?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I got expelled from school." Like he just like said it so casually. So I just like had a cigarette with him, and we just talked about it. We're like, "Oh man," like, and like just the way that it all went down, it was just like, "Fuck, dude, like that sucks." Like he got away with it, but then he got burnt, and it was like even worse. Like I don't know. I mean, it would whatever would have happened would have happened, but like you know, it just sucks that he really almost got away with it because like I've been involved with that fool in a different situation where like similar thing where something ended up turning up missing and someone had it and they actually called us up, all of us up, like, and we were sitting there and it was crazy. This fool, like, I don't know, it was like probably like $200, and it was like not in a bill fold, but the money was like folded, and it was like in 20s, so it was kind of heavy, and like I can remember like we are sitting on these chairs, and you would sit on these chairs when you had to wait to talk to like the people if you were in trouble or whatever. So we're sitting there, and I remember this fool pulls out this fat stack of bills, and he's like shit, and he gives it to the guy that I was talking about earlier, that like he just always wanted to be down, whatever. So he gave it to him, and there was this little thing in the corner, and it had all these brochures. I don't know what they were for, if they were for traveling, if they were for torrents, if they were for whatever the fuck. But like he was able to take it, and he took the money, and he threw it like a frisbee, like, and when he threw it like a frisbee, it went and it landed on the ground and it slid right underneath that little brochure thing. And like 14 seconds later, we got called back and like all got searched and everything and whatever, and had to like lift up our shirts and like all this stuff. And like it was crazy. Like it was one of the smoothest things that I've seen, like, to be honest. Like, we were young and fucking dumb, and like I don't condone stealing and all that shit, you know what I mean? But like just like the way that it happened, of just like it was just like the perfect little like just like throw, and it spun, and it just like went right underneath the thing, and then like right as it stopped, someone came out and was like, "All right, we'll see you." And then we actually had to go back and like had to keep point, and like I had to like talk to one of the people, and I had to like have a conversation with them and try to like distract him so this fool could like be on the ground pretending to tie his shoe and like try to like grab it, whatever. And like, we ended up pulling it off. But like, anyways, that was just a little side story, I guess. But anyways, yeah, that's about the text message that it got my boy arrested and it got him expelled from school. And literally, like, he thought he was in the clear, thought he was in home free. So it just goes to show you, man, like, be careful of your text messages. If you're gonna text, delete that shit, like, or just don't text at all or whatever. I mean, this happened so long ago. Like, this is literally like 2010. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking 15 years ago. People have kind of like smartened up by then and all that. But like back then, things were a lot different. So I think people know that are like smart enough to know now not to do that. I would hope so. But yeah, just like shit. You like sometimes you don't know, like you gotta wait till the whole fucking day is over to know that you were successful in what you were setting out to do, and not just like get away from a certain situation and be like, yeah, we did it, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, I hope you like this little video. We'll see how it does and whatever, but yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've been enjoying the videos. I've really been trying to come with some good ones and, put in some good effort, and I'm trying to make a little effort back here to just make it look a little nicer for you guys and stuff. Like, so I'm not like just a slob doing slob stuff. So, anyways, yeah. Happy Victory Monday once again to the Eagles. Going 9 in a row, baby. Let's go. Get it. And yeah, I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. Peace.